Ever wondered why some games and great franchises fail to impress? Today, we're diving into the top 6 bad games and great franchises. From the realms of fantasy to the depths of survival horror, from hack-and-slash adventures to first-person shooters, even the greatest franchises have their share of missteps. We'll be exploring these titles, shedding light on where they fell short of the high standards set by their predecessors. Let's not delay any further and jump straight into the list. 6th, Final Fantasy XIII, 2009. Yeah, we all know what you're thinking. Breathtaking environments, splendid sounds and music, a bevy of new characters. Where did this title go wrong? While it's true that the game received mostly positive reviews from critics, though veteran fans of the series were divided on some elements executed for the franchise's debut on the 7th generation consoles. Some of these items included an underdeveloped narrative, a less than inspirational heroine, and the experimentation with linear gameplay, a first for the series. Don't get us wrong, Final Fantasy XIII, unlike its online successor, is an alluring spectacle, but falls short in staying true to the components that helped make its predecessors the greats they are. 5th, Resident Evil 6, 2012. While all the RE games have always offered something new, this game fell ill from its own T-virus. By T we mean, too much stuff happening. Playing less like a survival horror and more like a shooter, think of this game as a car that someone at Capcom gave Call of Duty the keys to. Bloated with 4 explosive campaigns drenched in over-the-top action sequences, RE6 took away the feelings of desperation and strategic thinking that made its franchise legendary. Though certainly the series' most ambitious title, it just goes to show that sometimes less is more. Whether you enjoyed it or not, can't we all just hate the movies? 4th, Devil May Cry 2, 2003. Though violent and gory, here's a game that would even make the devil cry. Garnering a heavy amount of less-than-glamorous reviews from its predecessor, Capcom's 2003 follow-up to their handsome hack-and-slash made the fatal mistake of believing that Devil May Cry's heart was its guts and gore. The most common complaints of the game were its lackluster combat system, with weapon capabilities being dulled down from the first. Further watered-down distinctions included the details of the environment, which had been sacrificed for open spaces, as well as the protagonist, Dante's personality, whose arrogance and dialogue had been significantly trimmed. 3rd, Call of Duty, Black Ops Declassified, 2012. Attempting to double down on the success of the first Black Ops, BO2 and its handheld companion for the Vita were cleverly developed simultaneously for concurrent release. For those of you who couldn't fully appreciate the former, we promise Black Ops 2 will be heaven after a few short minutes with this shabby shooter. Undoubtedly the quintessential embarrassment for COD, Declassified received non-stop flack for its cramped campaign, taking the eye from its AIs, and all-around awkward gameplay style. 2nd, Silent Hill Homecoming, 2008. Sure, Downpour was downright deplorable, but we're giving the honors to Homecoming for being what most consider to be the franchise's turning point in its reception. The first game to be featured in the 7th gen consoles, the closest thing to new that Homecoming had to offer was its graphics. That said, the game lacked much needed and expected innovation, with players being greeted to the same old foggy effects and tiring melee system, but in HD. New monster designs were also divided amongst fans, citing models from previous installments to be far more frightening and inventive. And let's not forget the cheesily executed voiceover that the franchise remains notorious for. 1st Thief, 2014. Originally announced as a 4th entry for the franchise, Square Enix, after buying out original developer Eidos Interactive, insisted on an overhaul as part of rebranding. The result, 5 years later, was this wannabe first-person version Batman knockoff. Though praised for much of what made the series great, including its stealth-based gameplay, environment details, and replay value, this failed reboot was widely criticized for its bland story, flat voiceover work, and technical issues. Some of these included a few too many loading screens and glitchy AIs. If you wish that someone who make a proper sequel to Thief, just play Dishonored instead. In conclusion, even the greatest franchises can have their missteps. Whether it's due to underdeveloped narratives, uninspiring characters, or an overwhelming amount of content, these games didn't hit the mark. But remember, a single failure doesn't define a franchise. Here's to hoping for better games in the future.